This is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? As promised, we are going to do another paper map for this ASMR map series that we're doing. We've just done South Africa, Japan, and where else did we do? France. Did we do France? Yes, we did. And I've got loads more to do, mostly from Europe. Got Poland and Romania. I've got Czechia and Slovakia, and I've got the Balkans as well. I think I got New Zealand too. So we'll be doing all of those in this series. I hope you're enjoying it. But today is the turn of Australia. Good day, mate. And I've never been to Australia. I've been to New Zealand. And the story goes, and I've mentioned it on this channel before, so if you're an old subscriber then you'll have viewed me, apologies. But we went to Australia and we went to New Zealand. And I was like, oh, when we go to New Zealand we should and I used the expression, we should pop over to Australia. So naively we looked at flights and it was like, what the hell? It's like 3-4 hours from, I think we were going to be in Wellington and Auckland. I can't remember which one we were in. Auckland. I can't remember. And yeah, it's like to somewhere like Sydney, it was like 3 or 4 hours. And I was like, what? I could probably fly. Where could I fly in 4 hours? I could probably fly from Wales to Turkey in 4 hours. I think Greece is 3 hours. Yeah, like Moscow would probably be about 4 or 5 hours. So yeah, from here to Moscow, that's the distance. So it's at that point that my sort of mini curiosity streak, I'm not going to call it an obsession, but my mini curiosity streak started to happen with Australia. So I was like, well, I just kind of thought they were next door to each other, you know, and then I looked at it and I was like, oh my god, if you want to fly from one side of Australia to the other, it's like 4 or 5 hours. That's incredible. So yeah, if you think it's far between New Zealand and Australia, it's even further from one side of Australia to the other. So we're going to take a look at this very large country, a continent. It's so big. It's not even considered an island, it's a continent. Otherwise it would have been the largest island in the world. So let's start. Bearing in mind I'm from Wales, right? My channel is called Welsh ASMR 82. We're going to start in New South Wales. Yay, you're called Wales as well. So I hope you enjoy the video. In this series I kind of have 2 types of videos. One's where I talk about the country with facts that I know and tell you stories about when I've been there, but of course I've never been there. This is the second type. This is me, like last time with South Africa, just completely learning from scratch where the stuff is. Okay, let's start with Tasmania. I have a cousin in Tasmania. Cool story. And I've mentioned this before, my grandparents nearly moved to Australia before they had my mother. It was like, what's the expression, £5 poms? Like, they could have gone to Australia on the boat for £5. And they were like that close to going. So there's a scenario in a different universe, different timeline, multiverse and all that stuff, where I'm actually Australian. But I'm not me, because she wouldn't have met my dad, would she? But anyway, so yeah, here's Tasmania, and I have relatives living here. Tasmania is the largest island of Australia, and Hobart is the capital down here. It's separated here. Oh, it's the Bass Strait. But this is the Tasman Sea. And actually, comparatively, because it's so close to the South Pole, it's much, much cooler in Tasmania than it is on the mainland. And they have much colder weather, from what I'm led to believe. Burnie is here, Devonport is there, of the Banks Strait that separate the main island of Tasmania from Clark Island, Cape Barren Island, and Flinders Island, which are considered to be the Furneaux group, apparently. Not sure about my pronunciation there. And over here is King Island. And we also have a couple here, Hunter Island, 3 Hummock Island, Robbins Island. Oh, that's an interesting place. Not the most attractive name, Cape Grim. Stanley is there. The Tasman Lighthouse is on the Tasman Peninsula. And then we have the ginormous city of Melbourne. Now, in terms of facts, I'm going to Google this just to make sure I'm not wrong. Hang on. I just double checked myself. And I would have had the number drastically wrong. But something I found out about Melbourne, other than the fact I just saw that it has penguins, apparently, how cool, is that there is a massive Greek-speaking population. There's a Greek diaspora here, the largest in the world, outside of, the largest number of Greek descendants, outside of Greece and Cyprus. And there are approximately 173,000 speakers of Greek in Melbourne. I kind of became aware of that because I'm a massive Eurovision fan, because there are so many Australians that have sung for like Greece and Cyprus. And it's good old on Ange Postecoglou as well. So Melbourne, I'm assuming he's from Melbourne, he might not be. You've got Geelong here, Ballarat. I'm going to butcher some of these native names, I'm so sorry. Please correct me in the comment section, I like to learn. Warrnambool is here. Mount Gambier, Sanaa, Gambier, Bendigo, Wangaratta and Shepparton, Albury, Wodonga, Morwell and Traralgon. And then we've got this Port Phillip Bay, which leads into Melbourne. The western port is here. And if we just look east for a moment, we've got the 90-mile beach. And then as you go up, we can spot Canberra. Now, compared to its surrounding Sydney and Melbourne, and even Adelaide over here, which we'll get to in a second, Canberra is relatively small, but it is the official capital of Australia. It's one of those situations like in Turkey, Brazil, a couple of other countries, Scotland, where the capital city isn't the city with the largest population. And so it is a very popular quiz question, because people often say Sydney is the capital of Australia, which is incorrect. Canberra is. But Canberra sits here fairly sort of quietly, keep mind his own business. You never hear about Canberra, do you? It's always about Sydney and the Opera House, for example. The cool name of Wagga Wagga is there. So, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this. Queanbeyan, Goulburn, Nora, Wollongong. And as we come up the east coast a bit, we see the massive Sydney. My mum has been to Sydney. She said it was amazing. I hear it's really expensive. But I've looked at it on Google Maps a couple of times on this channel, and I would love to go to the port and the harbour, I mean, and see the Sydney Opera House. It is on my to-do list, my bucket list. I don't even like operas, just the building itself is so iconic, and the bridge and everything. And then we have Newcastle here, Bathurst and Lithgow, Orange, Dubbo, and Mushwell Brook. Tamworth is there. Armadale. Coming from a Brit, there are a mix of like really British names like Newcastle and Tamworth. And then there's some obviously very not. Like Wagga Wagga, for example. And just to wander up the coast a little bit more, we have Tarry, Port Macquarie, Kempsey, Coffs Harbour, Grafton, and then we've just got the ability to see Brisbane. So Brisbane's here, next to Ipswich, again another recognisable name, Southport another, and Gold Coast. Tweed Heads is here as well, so Brisbane, very large cities there. Toowoomba is there, St George's over there. The absolute vast majority of urban centres in Australia, for very good reasons, are on the coast. And one of them we can see using this map. I didn't do geography, I'm not very good with reading maps that efficiently, but it's very clear to see that all the green is here, and then it just goes. I believe the very centre of Australia reaches enormously high temperatures, so like 50 degrees plus. Just have a look, you can see some areas here, and I saw it's a Polish name, so I'm not sure how Australians would pronounce it. In Polish it would be Szczelecki Desert, Szczelecki, but goodness knows how Australians pronounce it. Let's try and guess. Strzelecki, maybe ignore the Z and make that a K. Strzelecki Desert. These are all reserves by the looks of it. Okay, so that's New South Wales there, and that's the state. Now I get this wrong now all the time. Australia has territories and states, right? Same as no, not the same as Canada. But New South Wales is here, and where's that border gone? Stops there and it comes mixed in with one of the oh no, I can see it's there. So like over here, so this is a different one. We'll see it when we turn the page, I guess. So Brisbane's in that one, so it's not in New South Wales. So am I right in thinking that Sydney is in New South Wales? But Melbourne, is this Victoria? I can't see it written anywhere. Oh yes I can. Victoria. It's the relatively small one, but because of Melbourne it's got a really big population. This is South Australia. That's the name of this territory, state. We have Adelaide here. Again, like I said before, mostly all of these places are going to be on the coast. The very, very large urban centres like Adelaide, Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, and here we have the island, Cape Border. Oh, this is Kangaroo Island. Oh, cool. Yeah, kangaroos are pretty cool, guys, I've got to be honest. And then, so we've come up here, and we have Adelaide here. Elizabeth is there, Mount Pleasant. It's Mount Pleasant in Swansea. And Kadina, Wallaroo, Port Pirie, and, oh gosh, Whyalla, Quorn, Mildura, so this is New South Wales, and this is the Indian Ocean, apparently. Australian Bight. The Indian Ocean comes all the way over here. So we don't have much going on here. It's a desert, as we can see. And that's the South Australia. So the coastline down here, the Eyre Peninsula maybe, and Streaky Bay, Flinders Island. There's a marine park in the Great Australian Bight apparently, and then there's a state line. Let's find out what's over there, shall we? This is the Great Victoria Desert, if I remember what was overleaf. And Kalgoorlie Boulder is here. Kambalda. And Esperance. Perpendicular cliffs. And the Aya Bird Observatory. The Spinflex Range. So yeah, far fewer people living here, look. But we're going to also just have a little look. This is Sydney, a close-up of Sydney. So I said about the port, the harbour, excuse me. The Opera House is there, and the river comes into the port. I can't quite read the river's name. Hang on. Parramatta River, maybe. It's blue on blue, though I can't see it well on this light. Fairfield, Liverpool, Bankstown, Sutherland. We have the Royal National Park here, and the Heathcote National Park. And then we have the Holsworthy Military Reserve here. Campbelltown, Blacktown, Castle Hill, The Hills, Hornsby, Chatswood, Lane, Cove, I think it's called, Manly, DY, Mona Vale. St Mary's is over here as well. Parramatta, Allroyd, Auburn, Fairfield, Canada Bay, Strathfield, Burnwood, Ashfield, Canterbury, Rockdale. Sydney Airport's down there next to Botany Bay. And then we've got the west coast. So we can see here One of the only large urban centres on the east coast is actually Perth. There aren't a great number compared to the, sorry, did I say east? West coast. Most of them are on the east coast. So Perth is here, Fremantle, Rockingham, Mandurah and Bunbury. And we can see Albany down here. Same as like you go in Canada, right, Albany? Or am I thinking of Alberta? Anyway, Mount Barker is here. And you have the Augusta and the Cape Lewin. Dunsborough, Lewin Naturalist National Park. Margaret River. And then as you come up the coast, you can see the Pinnacles Desert, Cervantes, interestingly, Dongara and Geraldton, which is there. But again, inland there's comparatively little. Mount Magnet is here. Okie dokie. So we've come up the coast. Shark Bay is here. That doesn't sound friendly. And we're on the Tropic of Capricorn as we head to Exmouth, Ningaloo Coast, Barrow Islands here, and the Montebello Islands. Port Headland is there. And the other thing to mention, there aren't a massive number on the north side of Australia as well. We're going to get to Darwin in a little bit. But yeah, generally, the population is very centred up south, east, curiously, east and southeast. So Port Headland is there. And as we go up the 80-mile beach, sounds nice, we have Broome. Sitting here, Dampier Land and Derby, Buccaneer Archipelago. It's the northern part of, perhaps not this part yet, but the northern part we're going to come to is pretty tropical. So there's a very different climate there, and obviously as we go over the tip, which we'll get to Darwin in a second, we'll be in the area where there's coral reefs as well. In fact, you can't see it, but I can. Let's see if I can just get it to you. There, that's Indonesia. And this state is called Western Australia. And I think is one of the largest, if not the largest. And then we have the border here, massive straight line. And then we've got the Northern Territories, which is the name of this one. So you have Kimberley, this is an area called Kimberley. You have the King Leopold Ranges here. So rocky and mountainous. And like I said about there's the coastal road, which cuts out going around Kimberley, just goes through instead. Maybe because the ranges would be difficult to get over. But there's no motorway going anywhere through the middle. This is the Gibson Desert. And the Little Sandy Deserts are just deserts. There is a national park here in the Northern Territories, the Uluru Kata Tuyuta National Park. Mount Zile is also here, 1,531 feet. So here we go, Northern Territory, which is just this rectangular shape. we do have Alice Springs, which is one of the largest, so I want to say internal cities, or maybe it's just a very large town. I think it's a city. Alice Springs is here, and you can drive to it. Look, there is a motorway. Not far from Mount Sile. And here we have the Simpson Desert, next to the Simpson Desert Regional Reserve. And the Munga Tiri National Park. And then if you look north of the Northern Territory after the Tanami Desert, we have the Gregory National Park, the Yambaran Range, Joseph Bonaparte Gulf, and we have Darwin. So Darwin's up here, obviously named after Charles Darwin. Although, I think, I can't remember in which order. Did he find Australia first, or did the Dutch find it first? So, Bathurst Island is there, Melville Island, and then Von Diemen Gulf. Some of the Dutch heritage coming through there. Catherine is here, and the Never Never Graves. Hot Springs, Arnhem Land, again another Dutch reference. And then up here we have the Arafura Sea and the Gulf of Carpentaria. And once we come over from Darwin and start to head down again, and this after this peak, a lot of prawn fishing base, Port Roper, Maria Island, Sir Edward Pellew Group, Cape Pellew, Fond du Lin Island, St Island, Manangura. And that's the northern part of the Northern Territories. And then we move over. Oh, there's another peak. Okay. So this is called Queensland. There are lots of references to the English royal family. Papua New Guinea is just up here. You see Port Moresby there. Interesting fact, Papua New Guinea, not the island of New Guinea, which is governed by half by Indonesia, but Papua New Guinea used to be a part of Australia, and then they became an independent nation. So Papua New Guinea is up there. Then we have on this massive peninsula, this is the Cape York Peninsula. Again, Dutch names, Duiven Point, Weipa, Horn Island is up here, and the Torres Strait, Thursday Island, Walben Island, Prince of Wales Island, Muralag, Bamaga, Newcastle Bay, and there's a fish habitat reserve in the Escape River, Hunter Point, Lloyd Bay, Great Barrier Reef Marina Park, far northern section, and then this is here, the Great Barrier Reef and the Coral Sea. Really, really important part of the Earth's ecosystem. Something to do with the coral in the Great Barrier Reef, which of course is under threat. Recycle so much carbon dioxide. Should it be destroyed through the global warming, then we would be in big trouble. So this is the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park, Cairns section, where we see Cairns. I think that's how it's pronounced. This place is aptly called Far North. And then down a little bit, next to the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park central section, we have Townsville. There are a couple of places inland from Townsville, and Mackay, point out first, Queensland for confirmation. We have Mount Isa. Mount Isa's there. And just, I was looking and I spotted somewhere that sounded really cool and I wanted to point it out to you. The wind is picking up outside. Charters Towers is there. Winton, Dundee, Julia Creek. Oh, I can't find it again now. Glenora, Esmeralda, Robin Hood. That's what it is. It's a place called Robin Hood, that's cool. And then to complete it, so Queensland's there. We have Charleville here, next to the Warrego Range, and then Central Highlands, and down from Mackay we've got Great Barrier Reef Coastal Marine Park, Mackay Capricorn section. This is the Tropic of Capricorn, which it cuts through here next to Rockhampton. You can see Curtis Island here and Gladstone. And then a couple of other urban centres. Bundaberg, I believe it's pronounced, with sugar mills and rum distillery. I would like that. We've got Fraser Island out here. And then we've got, how do you pronounce that? Maryborough. Next to Rainbow Beach, which sounds quite nice. So there we are. That is our map of Australia, paper map of Australia. Me pointing out things and finding out things, and mispronouncing things. Apologies. Happy for you to correct me in the comment section. I'm enjoying very much this series, so why don't you let me know with a comment which you would like next. I have, because they're quite cheap, these are, they're only about £3 or £4 each. I bought a stack of them, so we got Poland, Greece, the Balkans, Ireland, we've done South Africa, Albania, Czechia and Slovakia, Romania, and New Zealand. Let me know in a comment, and whichever one I think gets most comments I will do next. Okay, thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, then why don't you click like, leave me lots of comments, obviously correcting my pronunciation and with any nice facts about places. And if I made any mistakes when I talked about stuff, definitely correct me in the comment section, please. And if you enjoyed this video, you would probably like to click on the one that I've just put up on the screen next, if you're not asleep, of course. And if you love what I do, and you're already subscribed and you want to do something new, then why don't you join me on Patreon? Because on Patreon you get 2 extra videos every month that I never release on this channel. And all the tiers get the same stuff, so just pick the lowest tier. Even if you don't want to pay, still join me on Patreon, because I do some stuff for free patrons as well, so don't miss out on that stuff. Thanks so much for watching, take care everyone, and bye 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 bye.